Happy almost May 1st. We've got a couple days here in North Central Mass, Flicker Hill Homestead. Welcome to our channel if you're new. We are going to go over a garden tour, which you can see is a bit messy at the moment. So I will walk through and show all the different beds and where things are and what's going on with the different parts. So hopefully you enjoy. If you have comments, please feel free to ask in the comment section below. Hit that like button if you find this content fun or enjoyable, and subscribe to our channel and help us grow our channel and follow along. Happy gardening. Over in our Birdie's raised bed garden, it obviously looks a lot different if you are just coming back to our channel. We have been getting ready for a high tunnel in that center section, which we had to move a large majority of our beds. So we did add this extension on the tunnel of the cattle panel tunnel that we do beans and cucumbers and pumpkins on. And we're going to be adding another extension here, which is what those panels are. Some of those panels are staged for. We have more over on the other side as well. I need to clean this side up. I haven't actually done much. The onions were the onions we planted in the fall and had to move them, but they're actually doing pretty well. All of this is dill. So I had put some dill in here with the zinnias. These are the last year's zinnias that I need to clean up. And the dill self-seeded, as it always does, but very, very thickly. So we will actually probably have to dig some of that out. I did start peas, and so I do have some of these peas that are started here. Got them on both sides of this little cattle panel tunnel. You can see more dill. It's everywhere, as kind of expected. Over on this side of the cattle panels, we have more peas, and then our lettuce starts are finally up. I was really late planting those, so I'm excited to see those coming up. Iceberg, red leaf, and Paris Island. And then our spinach is doing pretty well. And you can see the peas here. Some of the peas even pushed up. This is pretty normal. It's not a big deal. Sometimes I'll cover it over, but you don't even need to do that. And then I planted some radish seed because that's a 21 to 28 day. And the center of here is actually potatoes. So excited about those. Over here, these ones are all the radishes I planted, I think, are all Easter egg. Johnny seeds. Beautiful, beautiful look to them. They come in red, purple, white, pink. I think it's just those 4 colors. But for early spring produce, it's absolutely stunning looking. So we are growing these for local food works, and they're a big, tall order for us this year because I am trying to get to a point where I can have 70 bunches in a single pickup ready at once. So this is a bit more of the production side that I'm practicing on. So I've got this is our second batch, which I'll show you. There's a couple other beds that have that second batch, but the first batch is a little further along. Like I said, these are 21 to 28 days to be ready, so we should be pretty close. I figure I need about 700 to 800 radishes to do that 70 bunches, so quite a lot. Here are some of the earlier radishes. These are the ones that I planted really early, and you can see they've got their first leaves coming in, second leaves coming in, true leaves coming in, so that's great. The kale finally has some movement on him. And then over here, the red leaf that I transplanted out, doing well, and then more radishes over here. This bed, I think I'm going to call it quits. We were playing with the hoses, and Jay's actually working on them right now. I think I'm going to actually dig out. I planted half of this with carrots, but I didn't really get to watering it. They actually are starting to come up, but not in great germination because I didn't water. All of that side is really weedy and low anyways, so I still need to come out and dig out this top part of the soil, at least this back half, and put new compost in. Over here, I need to weed this, as you can see, but the spinach actually has quite a bit of good leaves on it, as well as some of the old overwintered leaves. So the new growth coming in is delicious, and I've been eating that for lunch. So this is just kind of the bed for us. Over here you can see the start of the retaining wall thing. That's a height that we need to be, so it's not too bad now, a lot closer than it was. We will have it put on the back side as well, I think is what he said. But we have all the lumber to do that now. We did go with pressure treated instead of our milled lumber, so since it will be touching the ground. And that way this will be a step up, and then the greenhouse will be on the other side of that wall. But that will make it so that we can still easily access both sides of these raised beds, and we don't need to worry about having to move these. So that was a big part of it. We did dumped some more fill over the bank as well. And you can see we got another pile. We probably need at least one more load. So this was rather expensive to get that all that preparation to have it really level and strong, sturdy ground. You can see the gravel and everything. We're using multiple different types to really build that level up. So over here in these 12-foot beds, you'll see the radishes. So these are really the first production bed radishes. So these will be about a week ahead. And in theory anyways, you'll see there's a big gap in the center. Somehow when I stopped to do something real quick, I came back and I started in the wrong spot for seed. That happens. But this should be enough to do the 70 bunches. So it's about 12 foot by 3.5 feet. Some of the spacing's not great. I think it rained heavily actually the next day after I seeded. I didn't think it was going to be as heavy of rain. So you can see some movement here of some swells of radishes. That'll be fine. We'll just they'll start maturing differently a little bit as they try to fend each other off. So we'll pick those. But I will make sure to try to call out the ones that we're growing for production versus for our homestead. Lizzie's, they did get a little sunburnt, partly completely my fault. I didn't have the shade cloth ready, which you can see staged over here. So when I got home, I did get the shade cloth out finally and cover them, and they've been doing much better. And they have picked back up a little bit. You live and learn, and sometimes time gets away from you. Ranunculus up here are doing fine. Some of the stalk also got a little too burnt, even though they were fully hardened off. It's just they got too dry in this soil. And with all the hose games and my time, I just didn't get to them. So it's all good. Those were just a few I had been able to save anyways. But you can see there's quite a few in here. There is some that probably won't make it. That's fine. I've got extra plugs that I'll be planting up to 4 packs. And basically that'll be backup. So if I lose some in here, I'll just come and put new ones in. I did try to mark the colors. Arena 3 gold. I've got, let's see, Arena 3 greens, and 2 other colors that I can't see the tags on over there. The larkspur that I transplanted, you should not transplant. I should just preface that, but I figured I'd expect about half loss. They actually did okay transplanting, and these are all self-seeded from our larkspur from last year, so I'm excited to see how well they do. They look a little bit beefier already. You can see nice strong root systems on the ones that did make it. And I thought this would be a really nice kind of entrance into our little hoop. Goal is on the Lizzie's to be able to wholesale this year. So we'll see how that goes. These are the plugs that I have left. So most of the dark colors I'm trying to keep for in here. So I have a section here. I've got a little bit of section right in there that I'll fill in. And then I think what it's going to happen, and I'll show you guys the ranunculus in a second because they are gorgeous. Some of the last year's ranunculus are much smaller. I may actually pull them and pot them up and have them bloom the rest of the way, the ones that haven't budded yet. And the other ones, I'll just plant the Lizzies right in between and interplant those. What I started to say is the darker colors, the blues, the deep blues, The lavenders I planted actually half out. But those, the deeper colors do get water raindrop blotches sometimes. So having them in the tunnel where I can control the environment is much, much better. So I still need to dig this section out and then put new compost in, and I will then plant this whole square here. But because of reach, I think I might actually need to put a board in the center here so I can walk to the back to get to the back of the rows. These are my extra bacopas here. I still haven't dealt with them. Bacopas are those little cute white vine and lavender vines here. So these baskets will start having these grow and drape out and kind of make a little skirt around all of those. So they've done pretty well. I really like the look of having the hanging pots in here. It also helped with the shade cloth, which I didn't even mention, but we did get the shade cloth on this afternoon. It's a 40% white shade cloth, made to size, custom ordered. Kale is starting to bud here. So I won't be eating any more of this little leaves because it will be kind of a little bitter usually once it goes to seed. But I could use some of those in our early first arrangements and bouquets. The feverfew back here is all budded up, so I'm excited about that. And I'm really want to try to push these snaps and feverfew to get those longer stems for those, to time it right with the ranunculus. So I've got about 2 to 3 weeks probably for the majority of the ranunculus, which I'm still going to try to push him, but I don't expect these guys to be ready for Mother's Day, which I'm really bummed about because I was really hopeful. So over here you can see these guys are starting to close for the night now. These two were fully open today. This one, you can kind of see, this is marshmallow stage. You can squish. It's like a trial and error, but when it's at that stage, that's a perfect time to pick it. This hasn't opened yet. It's a nice long stem. I think it was about 16 inches when I measured it. So in theory, I could actually cut this and it would be ready for a bouquet arrangement, whatever. But because I'm still limited and these are last year's, and you can see the difference, the foliage is looking really, really good on those. These guys are a little more scraggly from last year, and some of them much, much tinier. Definitely need some food over here, but these guys should be pushing 18 to 20 inch stems, I'm hoping. So we'll see, but again, we got to get it to about 2 to 3 more weeks. There's some buds started on there, and so it does take a while once you even see the bud coming out. The giant pansy experiment is doing really well. I am at 10 inches consistently on at least those 3 stems there, the white ones. The purple ones are a little bit shorter, but they're also kind of growing in an odd angle, so it might not be able to measure as well. So goal is 12 inches by Mother's Day. We'll see. If I can do that, then I will grow a lot more of those for next year. I think those would be a really great, happy Mother's Day type of bouquet. Eucalyptus is doing really well still, coming back. There's even some more new growth coming in, and so I'm excited about that. I do have the parsley transplants in here. Have been slow to take off. We have the alyssum that's self-seeded coming back, and the onions from last fall are doing really well, so I'll have that ready almost. And we could actually start eating those pretty close. You can see the size is actually not bad. And then Dusty Miller I can use for arrangements with the ranunculus, which I'm really excited about. These are more of the giant pansies that are just really slow. I needed to pot them up and I haven't done it yet. And then the violas, these are all for sale right now. I'll show you more outside. Tomatoes are looking really scraggly. So tomatoes kind of took a back seat on a lot of reasons. So normally I would have potted these up. Some of them are actually at the point where they might even start getting root bound. They are trying, I should pick this off. They are trying to actually go to fruit already. But I needed to get other things, priorities done, like planting out those lizzies before I kill all the plugs. So we've got really sad looking tomatoes. I need to fertilize them and play around with them a little bit, but that's hopefully this week once I finish the lizzies. Tomatoes out of our basement and the peppers out of our basement up into either this space, which will probably be this corner over here, or into a new type of like semi structure that we'll create somehow. Look at all the dill that's self-seeded. I've got marigolds that's self-seeded, tomatoes that's self-seeded. With the mild winter we had, this was probably closer to a 7B winter in this tunnel, which is absolutely crazy. We're a 5B zone typically. The ranunculus potted plants up here with the violas are doing really well, and I've got one pansy in this one. I'm still pretty excited about how well these are going, and I think they may actually be perfect for Mother's Day. And the strawberries are doing fantastic over there as well. So some wins, some losses, you never know, right? Just so I've showed you guys, this is the shade cloth that I bought last year. Got it on Amazon. It's definitely not what I would typically do. 40% just like this hoop that we have, and my goal was to use this for any ranunculus that are outside to keep the temps down, and then also for the lizzies and anything transplanting to try to help with that. These are all the potted plants I have for sale right now. I need to go in and do some trimming and cleanup, but I've got viola and ranunculus potted plants. I've got multi ranunculus pots. I got single ranunculus pots, viola pots, pansies and violas mixed, some single pansies, mixtures of everything going on here. Again, I'll do some cleanup and get these really ready for Mother's Day, and probably I may run a sale actually. So if you're local, stay tuned and watch for that. I might do another sale on if you order like a Lizzianthus or a ranunculus subscription, flower subscription, which means you get there's a couple different sizes and different types, and basically you prepay and get a nice big discount for prepaying, and you get first priority. So you don't get to pick any of the specific colors or anything, but you'll get first priority, meaning you'll get the best stems that I have in order to fulfill your orders. And it's basically like guaranteed local flowers for multiple weeks. So you can choose your weeks within the bloom season. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Let me know if you have questions. I'm happy to answer those. Over here we've got the 3 beds out here. These will all be peppers, hots, and sweets coming up, but not until end of May, early June, which means that they are now radishes because I have over 30 days before I'll be planting peppers out here. So you'll see these ones are just coming up similar to the bed over there. So we've got the first planting here for Local Food Works. Second planting is a combination of that tall bed, this bed, and that bed. And so we will see how we do, but that hopefully gives us enough wiggle room to deliver those 70 bunches. So the ranunculus is looking yellow again, which is really concerning, that are out here in the pots. Some of it was that they were too dry. So they don't like wet feet, but I also don't want to be too dry. So I do know that, but then also I'm guessing that ProMix is a little bit nitrogen deficient, would be my assumption. So I need to fertilize these again, even though I just fertilized them like 4 days ago. They started looking really good and then they went yellow again. It also could be due to the temp swings that we've been having. So there's a couple different factors. Weather coming up should be ideal for these guys, but not as good as a controlled hoop house type situation with the water and the little heater for the colder nights to, make sure that they're good. They are technically good down to 25, but they're looking for ideal temperatures of like 45, 50 at night and 70, low 70s in the day, I think is what I've read. So Right now it was 73 today during the day, but here in this really open area, it was really, really hot. So I will be putting the shade cloth and putting some hoops back on probably this week. And Jay's working on the irrigation over here for the onions and garlic, so that'll be really helpful. This is the big bed of Lizzie's. You can see it's kind of a center area. I may regret this a little bit, but I didn't put the boardwalks in so I could fit more. And so this was basically my reach length width. So we'll see how it goes. But there's there's like 7 different colors or something like that, 6 different colors, all planted out here now. And I just finished some of this today, this afternoon. And then here's that shade cloth that I will put back out on the morning. That's 40%. And I'll put another one on the other side of that. And we will go from there. That should hopefully help them not get too cooked out here. These do get full sun from like sunrise, which has got to be like 6 a.m. here now, through maybe 5 o'clock, 4:30, when it hits the hill behind us. Over here, you can see this stuff really dries out over here. It gets a lot of wind all day, pretty much. And then we also, like I said, gets full sun. So the onions definitely need some watering, but the way you can tell they're doing all right is that they're starting to stand up straight. You can see here, versus these guys, which will probably be another 2 to 3 days to a week before they're actually standing upright. Irrigation will definitely help because hose doesn't really reach over on this side at the moment, though Jace is all fixing all of that. So you can see here we've got the pressure regulator there. We've got splitters. This red hose will come into here. The white hose is the one for the leach field flower garden, cut flower gardens. And then over here we've got I think these are Johnny Seeds setup irrigation. And what he's done is he just puts these, this is the main line, and these nozzles go straight underneath the walkway here. I think they're at 8-inch drip, I believe. The garlic definitely got a little burnt on the ends, but nothing to really be that worried about. But I do need to come out and I will put a fish and seaweed, maybe some bone meal, I'm not sure. But I'll get some fertilizer on these guys pretty quick here. Same with the onions. The delphinium plugs, I've got the 2 different types, the white and blue and the dark blue. They are actually coming back better than I expected, but you can see all the weeds. The entire yard of this side is this, I don't know, seems rather invasive weed. So probably need to get in here and clean that up, but it's a low priority. But I was really glad that the plugs I paid for last year are, most of them are coming back. I think there was like 35, so I didn't count, but it looks decent. I should come in and fertilize. That will help these guys as well, just a quick foliar feed. Rhubarb is doing really well. And I've got lupin back here. Asparagus is not looking good, so that's rather nervous. The peonies looking pretty good. Feverfew, yarrow, lavender, sedums, daisies, Shasta daisies, tansies coming in. I've got a little bit of everything back here. Irises. Oh, I do have some tulips coming in. I left those in, so they won't be very good this year. And then some fancy daffodils are coming in back there. More lavender. Columbine, anise hyssop. Yeah, there's quite a bit. So this, the bee balm as well in the back. This is mostly a perennial cut garden. So I kind of have these little pathways to walk in to do the cuttings. But we'll see how it does. I do have a couple things that are just more fun that I just really enjoy. And Jay's having fun with the irrigation testing over here. So that's the garden tour for today. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what we have going on where. There's still quite a bit to do, but I'm excited. I got a whole lot, over half the Lizzies in, and the radishes are finally coming in, which is great because we're just about, I think, is it Tuesday or Wednesday is May 1st. So having these radishes ready before the end of May was my kind of goal, so that I can start planting out the peppers like I talked about, and then we'll be transplanting a bunch of the lettuce into this bed.